This is another episode of the Nutrition Club. It's provided by Community Health Programs and funded by the Berkshire Fallon Health Collaborative. My name is Hannah Patterson, and I'm this program's culinary nutritionist. So this program has been giving you so many vegetables that you can't seem to eat them fast enough. And last week, some of you members during your Zoom meetings were actually asking me, and yes, I can. Not the dance, though. I can't do the dance. I can actually do the culinary portion where I do canning. So this week, I'm going to show you how to can. It's going to be great. I figured it's about that time of year where all these tomatoes are getting really ripe and ready for picking. And I'm going to show you a few different ways to make tomato sauce. So we're going to use that tomato sauce for the canning. That way you can use it all year round and it's not going to go to waste. None of those tomatoes are going to go bad because everybody can only really grow tomatoes during the summertime, right? Can't always make it during the winter. Some of these farmers can, but still, we don't want to waste all those tomatoes that are going to be coming for us this summer. Might as well use some extra time just to make huge batches of tomato sauce and then can it all up for the whole year long. And it's really going to be a lot of work, but it's going to be worth it. If you can't afford buying your own canning kit or can't seem to borrow someone else's, that's okay. You can always take this tomato sauce recipe and just freeze it. Make sure to pay close attention and write down some questions so that you'll actually be able to participate in next week's Zoom meeting, which is actually mandatory. So pay close attention and write your notes. Let's get started. I even grabbed some fresh herbs for my garden. Here's just a few common types of tomatoes. These different types are either used for a salad topping, for sauces, or even just a plain old slice for a sandwich. For this sauce recipe, I'm going to use cherry and Roma tomatoes, and I'm going to roast them in the oven, as well as some garlic. So I chose cherry tomatoes and Roma tomatoes because they're a bit more meaty, and they can make a thicker kind of sauce. I also decided to make a healthier option for spaghetti pasta, so I actually took a spaghetti squash, put it in the oven for 5 minutes at the 400 degrees, and then I took it out and cut it in half. That way it's a little easier and not so dangerous to cut it in half. Then took the seeds out and roasted it for a good 400 degrees Fahrenheit for an hour. Another technique to prep a sauce is to blanch them. So I cut a little triangle into the stem and removed that and then scored it with an X at the tip of the Roma tomato. Then I bring a pot of water to a boil, put my tomatoes in very carefully, and I had also prepped a nice little ice bath that I'm going to put them in there, and it's going to shock them. This temperature shock will allow me to remove the peels. Now for the roasted tomatoes, I simply took them out of the oven and used 2 forks to take the peels off. It's a little bit of work, but It comes off much easier than a fresh peel. I took all of the blanched and roasted tomatoes and chopped them up for the sauce. Now don't take all those peels and throw them away. We're still going to use them. We're going to put them in a colander and squeeze all that juice back out into the meat tomatoes, and then take those peels, put them in either a Vitamix, or you can use a food processor or grinder, anything, and we're going to make it into a little puree. So this is going to help thicken the sauce still, but we're not going to have a whole bunch of those tiny peels found in chunks throughout the tomato sauce. It is very important to thoroughly wash all the mason jars, lids, and canning tools in a clean sink. We don't want any bacteria in the jars, so the tomato sauce won't go bad for a long time. If everything isn't cleaned properly, it can make you very sick when you eat it. After everything is clean, make sure not to touch any of the jars or lids with your hands. That's what the cleaning tools are meant for. In a large cleaning pot filled with water, add the mason jars using a clean tool. Then bring it to a boil. This will ensure that the jars are completely sterile. Here's all of my ingredients prepped and ready to go. The garlic I roasted earlier, I take out of the foil and I squeeze it. Now this is really sticky and messy, but it gives the tomato sauce a really good flavor. Using the canning tongs, gently remove and drain the jars from the pot to a clean towel. Make sure to space them apart 2 inches. Add the lids and water to a small pot and bring to a simmer. Make sure not to boil them. Using the funnel from the canning kit, ladle the tomato sauce into the jars. Fill them, leaving about 1/2 inch of space from the top. Give the jars a gentle jiggle to help release any air pockets. Add a 1/4 teaspoon of lemon juice to each pint jar. This will help preserve the sauce. If there is any sauce outside of the jars, use a clean towel to wipe it up. Using the canning tool with the magnet, place the lids on top of the jars gently. Then screw on the lid band evenly just until you feel a resistance. Don't tighten them all the way. It needs to be loose so that the air in the jar can escape while it boils again. Using heat pads, gently lift up the rack and then add all the cans carefully into the pot. If you have any extra cans that haven't been filled with any sauce, you can always use the same empty ones. Then carefully lower the rack back into the pot and bring to another boil. Gently remove all the jars onto a cooling rack, well spaced apart. As they're cooling, each jar should make a pop noise to ensure that it's properly sealed.
spiralized zucchini is another excellent substitute for spaghetti. Spiralizers are cheap tools that you can get at almost any store.
Now, pay close attention to the recipe when you're making this, because you can very easily end up creating bad bacteria while doing this canning process, and you can get really sick from it. So pay very close attention to the recipe. I marked a link below in the description of this video, and you can just click there and print your own copy of the recipe. If you don't have a printer or anything, you can always just give us a call and we can put that in your food bag for you. And then make sure that you kept all of your questions written down and put to the side until our next Zoom meeting, which will be available at the end of every month. And check your emails for the time slots to be able to be a part of that Zoom meeting. Now again, it is mandatory to have at least 4 attendances to these Zoom meetings throughout the 1 year you're on the program. So make sure that you try to make it. And also make sure to subscribe if you're a member, or even not a member. Subscribe to this channel, as well as if you want, you can get notifications if you click on the little bell in the corner, and that will pop up all of CHP's channel's videos every time we have a new video, so you can stay updated with everything. And then also for all of you members, we do also have these awesome apps. Well, this awesome app, it's a nutrition app called Libro app, and it's a great way to keep track of your calories, as well as having access to all of the recipes. And you can also sync your fitness tracker to it too, so you can keep track of everything. And we even have special dietitians that you can have a free session with, and they can actually go and review some of your menu options and everything and give you awesome advice that is perfect for you. Just give us a call and let us know if that's something you want to take advantage of, whether it's the app, or the dietetic consultation. Also, we have an Instagram account that you can follow and get little updates and see ahead of time what's going to be in your food bag, and also some little tidbits of little tricks and little tips that you can really use with your food bags. And then if you are not a member of the Nutrition Club, you should totally look into it and take advantage of this awesome program. We have CSA shares delivered. We have CSA share bags that you get for free every week if you're a member, and it's from farmers throughout the whole county, and they're really great organic farmers, and their food is amazing. So if you are actually a WIC member, or have A1C greater than 9, and you have Fallon Health Insurance, call us. Our information is below, or even email us and see if you qualify for this program and take full advantage of these awesome food bags. So that's the ending of this show. I hope you really like it, and I'll see you next week with our next video, or maybe even see you at a Zoom meeting. Bye.